Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Pooja, and today I am making this video for all the aspirants who are preparing for their MSc Biochemistry entrance. Now, all of you know that biochemistry nowadays is a very picking up subject. So many students are opting, whether they are doing their BSc MLT or they are doing their DMLTs, they are interested in joining a course in MSc Biochemistry. And I've been receiving so many requests from different students that I have to make a video on MSc Biochemistry entrance. Now, first of all, you should know what kind of questions will be asked for the preparation for this. So, obviously, some questions will be asked from physiology because it will be basically from your graduation syllabus only. Some questions will be from obviously biochemistry, and some little bit will be from anatomy also. But what all you have studied during your BSc, those questions will be asked. So in graduation only, whether you are doing your graduation in non-medical, whether you are doing your graduation in medical subjects like zoology, botany, and chemistry, all of you have studied these three topics. And the questions are mainly based on this. So today I will be discussing some of the questions, how to prepare for them. Now, let's start up with the discussion of the questions. Question number 1, mucopolysaccharidosis, which is a lysosomal storage disorder, occurs the abnormality in. Now see, mucopolysaccharidosis, doses is increased concentration of mucopolysaccharides. So these are mainly the lysosomal storage disorders, as you can see in the question also. And there is an abnormality in hydrolase enzyme. Hydrolase means the enzyme which is catalyzing the hydrolysis. Now, all of you must be familiar with the term mucopolysaccharides. Muco, MPS. They are present wherever mucus is there. That is why they are known as mucopolysaccharides, जैसे in the synovial fluid. And their main function is they act as lubricants. Right? So obviously, जैसे for example, hyaluronic acid is there. ठीक है? It is formed from say A plus B. If I say this enzyme is absent, there will be accumulation of this A and B. And that is what happens. The enzymes which are catalyzing the hydrolysis of these mucopolysaccharides, if they are absent, it will lead to accumulation of that and it is excreted in urine. So the answer to this question will be hydrolase. And this belongs to OTHLIL, means third class of enzymes. Is it clear to all of you? Then we move over to the second question. Sulfur of cysteine are not used or utilized in the body for the following process. Now, what do you mean by this cysteine? There are two sulfur containing amino acids. One is cysteine, other is methionine. Both are sulfur containing. But the major difference between them is this methionine is considered to be the essential one, as it is required for the synthesis of cysteine. And if we have to differentiate on the basis of structures between cysteine and methionine, this is the generalized structure of an amino acid. Cysteine is this. But if we see methionine has one extra methyl group. So let's look at the options. Are not utilized. So helps in conversion of cyanide to thiocyanate? Yes. Helps in the formation of thiosulfate because it has a thio group. Introduction of sulfur atom in methionine? No. Disulfide bonds between two adjacent bonds? Yes. So the answer are not utilized means it never leads to the introduction of sulfur atom in methionine, because methionine is the one which is forming cysteine, not cysteine is forming methionine. Right? And that is why methionine is essential and cysteine is non-essential. So the answer to this question would be introduction of sulfur atom in methionine. Then we move over to the next question. Which one of the following statements about protein structure is correct? Now, one thing I'm going to tell you, whatever questions I am discussing, they have been taken from the previous year question. So there are chances that these can be asked in the exam. So which one of the following statements is correct? Proteins consist of one polypeptide can have quaternary structure. No. If you have to have a quaternary structure, it should have more than two or more than one. Let's put it that way. Because if you see, if I talk about hemoglobin, heme has a quaternary structure. So it is tetrameric, means it has alpha 2 and beta 2. So it has 4 polypeptide. So this cannot be the option. Second option is the formation of a disulfide bond in protein requires that the two participating cysteine residues be adjacent to each other in the primary sequence of the protein. They are present, but they are present in the secondary and tertiary structure. Because if we see the primary sequence, it has only a peptide bond. No other bond is present in primary except peptide bond. Then third option, the stability of quaternary structure in proteins is mainly as a result of covalent bond among the subunits. No, stability is mainly by hydrophobic bonds. Hydrophobic are there, then electrostatic bond is there, disulfide bonds are there, there's so many other bonds. The denaturation of proteins always leads to irreversible loss of secondary and tertiary structure. Again, if denaturation is there, it will lead to basically the primary structure. And then the information required for the correct folding of a protein is contained in the specific sequence of amino acids along the peptide chain. So if you look at this option, the information required for the correct is contained in the specific sequence of amino acids. This is correct. Or to some extent, we can say denaturation is also correct, because whenever we heat the protein, obviously the interactions between these is lost. So always when a protein is denatured, its primary sequence is intact and secondary and tertiary are given out. So we can say here that the options D and E are correct. Then we move over to the next question, true about retinol. Now retinol, retinol and retinoic acid. These are the three forms of vitamin A. And a best interesting part about this is they are interconvertible with respect to one another. Means retinol, retinoic acid and retinol can be interconvertible. Now true, you have to find out form part of rhodopsin. No, the part of rhodopsin is retinol. To some extent we can say retinol also, because you know retinol has OH group, retinol has CHO group, and retinoic acid has COH group. You know, OH undergoes oxidation forming this, it undergoes oxidation forming this, and they can undergo reduction also. So it will form a part of rhodopsin, in a sense that rhodopsin is a pigment helping in night vision. Night vision. Then transported from intestine to liver by chylomicron. This is correct. Because you know retinol binding protein is there, retinal binding protein is there, and vitamin A is a fat soluble vitamin. Always remember. So all the fat soluble vitamins require a carrier protein. They cannot move on their own. Actively takes part in visual cycle. It does not take part in visual cycle because retinal is the form which takes part in this visual cycle. Implicated in growth and differentiation of tissues? Yes, this is a very important function performed by vitamin A. Not formed from retinoic acid? This is again correct. This is never formed from retinoic acid, as you can see. Right? So the answer to this question would be true about retinol is B, D, and E. Transported from intestine, implicated in growth, and not formed by retinoic acid. Because the form which actually plays a role in visual cycle, it is retinal. So I hope this question is also clear to you, because most of the questions which are given, they are having multiple choice. Then in prolonged fasting, glycerol is formed from triglyceride. Which of the following statements is true regarding glycerol? Now, glycerol plays a very, very important role in a sense that these fats are the triesters of fatty acid and glycerol. So obviously, when the fat has to form, fatty acid and glycerol will form fat. Whenever fat is broken down, it will be degraded to form free fatty acids and glycerol. So if we look at the options used in synthesis of chylomicrons, it is not used in the synthesis of chylomicrons. Glycerol we are talking. We are not talking about TGs. There is a difference. Glycerol is which is actually formed from the breakdown of fats. So it is not glyceraldehyde. In fact, TGs are required for the synthesis of chylomicrons. It is directly used by tissues for energy used. It is not directly used, it is indirectly used. It is formed due to the increased activity. In fact, it is formed due to the increased activity of hormone-sensitive lipase, which increases lipolysis. And it acts as a substrate for gluconeogenesis in the liver. This is again a very important aspect of glycerol. So the answers would be D and E. Then pyruvate dehydrogenase complex uses the following coenzymes. Now, what reaction is catalyzed by pyruvate dehydrogenase? Pyruvate dehydrogenase actually catalyzes the conversion of pyruvic acid to acetyl coenzyme A. And this PDH is an example of multi-enzyme complex. So multi-enzyme complex is that which cannot function alone. It requires 5 coenzymes and 3 enzymes. So these 5 coenzymes include TPP, which is the most important one, which is B1 also, B1, B2, B3, and B5, along with lipoic acid. Let's look at the options. Biotin is not there, lipoic acid is there, NAD is there, FMN is not there, TPP is there. So this PDH complex will have only lipoic acid, TPP, and NAD. Right? And this will be the answer. Then next question, in conversion of pyruvate to acetyl coenzyme A, which of the following coenzyme is used? Same question put up in a different pattern. So the answer is simple, this. Biotin, pyridoxal phosphate, and THF won't be required. The next question, true about urea cycle. Now urea is simple, NH2, C double bond O, NH2. One nitrogen comes from the amino acids. This carbon comes from carbon dioxide. And this ammonia comes from aspartate. So true about urea cycle is nitrogen of the urea comes from alanine and ammonia. Wrong. Uses ATP during conversion of arginosuccinate to arginine. Again wrong. Because ATP kahan pe use hota hai? When this arginosuccinate is produced from citrulline. And the enzyme is arginosuccinate synthetase. On consumption of high amount of protein, excess of urea is formed. This is correct. Occurs mainly in the cytoplasm? No. Urea cycle occurs in two organelles. First and second step is in mitochondria, and third, fourth, and fifth in cytosol. And synthesis of arginosuccinate consumes energy. This is correct. So here the correct answer would be C, that is on consumption of high amount of protein, excess of urea is formed. And second would be synthesis of arginosuccinate consumes energy. Then we move over to the next question, gangliosides. Now gangliosides are basically the type of conjugate lipids. And they consist of a sugar and sialic acid. No phosphate, no sulfate, no CL. It's very simple, straightforward question. So gangliosides will contain galactose and sialic acid. The next, all are true about structure of DNA except. Now see, DNA can be right-handed. It can be left-handed because there are 5 types of DNA, A, B, C, D, and Z. Phosphates from the backbone, correct. Deoxyribose also, because this is a sugar. Nitrogen bases never form the backbone. Because if you see the structure, nitrogenous bases are like this, adenine and thymine, linked to sugar, linked to phosphate, and then guanine and cytosine. Like this. So, except nitrogenous bases form backbone, all are true. Then which of the following is false? This question is regarding the composition of DNA. And composition of DNA was given by Irwin Chargaff. First of all, before taking up this, I'll just show you what this composition postulates of this was, that purines and pyrimidines occurs in equal amounts. Purines of DNA, all of you know that they are adenine and guanine. Pyrimidines are thymine and cytosine. Amount of adenine plus thymine is equivalent to thymine plus cytosine. Adenine is equivalent to thymine. Guanine is equivalent to cytosine. And adenine plus thymine over guanine plus cytosine is equal to 1, which is constant for a given species. So these are what? These are the Chargaff rules. Now what the question says, ratio of A by T over, it is approximately equal to 1. This is correct. Ratio of A over G is approximately, it is wrong. A plus T is equal to G plus C, it is again wrong. A plus C again wrong, but this is correct. Adenine plus guanine is equal to cytosine and thymine. So if we look at the answer, answer would be which of the statements are false? The answer would be B, C, and D. This is a very important question which can be asked in the class exam also. The next, true about restriction enzymes. Now restriction enzymes is that class of enzymes जिनको हम REs भी बोलते हैं, and they are also known as the molecular scissors. Why molecular scissors? Because they cut DNA at specific sites. Cut DNA at specific sites. And that is why they are also known as restriction endonucleases. They produces sticky ends and they produce cohesive ends also. This is also correct. They cannot detect mutations. They are not obtained from virus, they are obtained from bacteria. जैसे EcoR1 is there, EcoR1. So EcoR1 is isolated from Escherichia coli. So that's a bacteria. Breaks at sugar phosphate bond? Yes. So the answer would be simple, A, B, and E. This would be the answer. Then we move over to question number 13. Which of the following is true regarding transcription except? Now transcription is what? Simple. Formation of RNA from DNA is transcription. And then this RNA is converted into proteins by translation, transcription. And this is translation. mRNA forms, correct. DNA polymerase used, enzyme is used, no. Obviously, if it is synthesis of RNA, so enzyme used will be RNA. And eukaryotes possess 3 different type of RNA polymerases. This is also correct. Eukaryotes have 3, RNA poly 1, poly 2, and poly 3. Whereas prokaryotic RNA has alpha, different subunits, alpha 2, beta 2 is there, and then sigma is there. So if you look at the answer to this question, simple, true regarding transcription, except DNA polymerase is used, and that's it. So the answer would be B. Rest are the options. Correct. Then peptidyl transferase is an example for. Now, you know all enzymes are proteins except ribozymes. And the example of ribozymes is peptidyl transferase, which helps during translation. So answer would be simple, ribozyme. As it is clear from the word itself, ribo, RNA has a catalytic activity. And then we move over to the last question, the characteristic feature following acute ingestion of alcohol. Very important question. It leads to simple lactic acidosis. As you know, this pyruvic acid in the absence of oxygen forms lactic acid, but in the absence of oxygen forms acetyl coenzyme A. Now, after ingestion of alcohol, this is obviously inhibited. So the reaction which is accelerated will be increased concentration of pyruvic acid, which forms lactic acid. So these are 15 questions which I have discussed with you, and these 15 questions I have taken from actually the previous year questions. So this is all for today's session. If you guys have any problem, any queries, this is my WhatsApp number. You can ping on this, and this is my website, biochemistrysimplified.com. So basically, it is just to make this biochemistry subject easy. And that is why my channel's name is also Biochemistry Made Easy. So this video of mine, I hope this will be of a great help for the students who are actually preparing for their MSc entrance in biochemistry. So wishing you guys all the best. Take care.